Hello again, everybody. I'm recording this video to quickly share part of a vision that God had given me in 2019 that I've been reluctant to share. Um, shouldn't have been, but one of those things. I never experienced it before. Didn't know how to directly explain it to anybody. I still struggle with coming up the words with how I'm going to say certain things or what I'm going to share, but I figure now is a good enough time as any to do so. Um, if nothing else, other than just to get the conversation rolling, get it across my tongue so that I can even better understand it myself, probably. But back in 2019, I was going to school. Uh, I was going to school, and I was doing better than I ever expected that I would have. With the amount of work that I was having to do, I was having to play a lot of catch up because I hadn't, really focused as much as a student as I should have when I was younger. So some of the things I needed to do was like I needed to learn the college level stuff that I was doing, while also like building the basics, getting the building blocks and the foundations under my feet as well. So I was kind of working a little bit of overtime for it. Well, that amounted to me basically being in my garage away from my family, wife, not quite daughter at the time. I had two sons who like I was working really hard to get invested in my life and things like that. But in order to not distract the family, I was spending all my time in order to focus myself as well. I was spending all my time in the garage. I had a nice area set up where I could do my schoolwork, my studies, and things like that, but also work on projects and all that kind of stuff. And I was out there working for like 18 hours a day, not just in the garage, but just, nonstop from the moment when you wake up, you give your wife a kiss on the forehead while she sleeps, and you run off to school and whatever, da 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 throughout your day. And then by the end of the day, you've been like busy for 18 hours straight. You haven't sat down, done anything for yourself. Um, and this is the way I had been working for quite a while. And so it was through the summer and the way the garage is oriented, the like the heat, the direct sunlight would make it through a window and just kind of like even hit me right on the shoulders, even while I was studying and things like that. So it was pretty hot in there. I'd say it was 90 some degrees at most times, if not a little bit more, but it's the kind of thing that you get used to. So I'm out there doing this, I'm doing all these studies, and um, for a while I'd been getting pretty sick. I had this cough going that I wasn't really telling people how bad it was getting, but it was getting to the point where I would be like coughing and I would be getting lightheaded. Um, I was having to sit down sometimes, but also I was starting to get like this pain from my cough that would just show up like right here along the side of my head. Um, so it was starting to get a little worrisome, but I'm pretty good at ignoring myself and things like that. So I just kept working, knowing that if I could get through school, I'd be able to have an education, a background that I could move forward with and provide for my family. We wouldn't have to worry about money. We'd have everything that we need. And in my head, I thought everything would be perfect. So it was worth the risk to me to keep going. Um, one of those times, one of the coughing fits really put me on my keister. So, and I don't recall how everything, you know, proceeded from there, but um, so God kind of got a hold of me, and I knew it was God because there was no other way I could credit what was happening to anything else. Um, because I started going through these things where I was having I was able to like hear specific things that were being told to me without having any actual like noise in the environment. Like I bet you somebody could have stood right next to me and they wouldn't have been able to hear it at all themselves. Like God has this ability to penetrate sound, so it's like you would hear it as if it was audible, but so he has like a voice that penetrates sound. And so he began like giving me these inward things, but I was experiencing a lot of different things. Um, and so he started showing me things as well. And in this process of showing me things, and when I say vision, I mean like showing me things, he took me from the point in time where I was at, and we started going backwards through time. And as this was happening, I was able to like see things as we're moving back through time, and I could actually see them as if, perhaps because it had already occurred. Um, that's why I had the ability to see it. But he brought me back and he was showing me all these different things, all the way back to, and this is when he took away all doubt of like who he is, who his son is, and everything like that. He brought me back and he showed me a cave with a stone rolled away, right? And at that instant, he let me know, like, without a doubt, Jesus Christ is my son. This is your savior. This is what I'm showing you. And then he took me from there and he brought me all the way back through to the present point in time and into the future. And at that point, when we crossed the threshold of where I was existing and into a little bit in the future, I lost all vision at all. I couldn't see anything. And I was just in this position where I could tell kind of what was going on, but I wasn't able to see or allowed to see whatever the cause of it was. But he brought me to this point in which he started showing me that, not showing me, he connected me with the concept of what he's able to do or planning to do, uh, with social media, with YouTube at the time. He was having me deliver a message to certain people that was saying, I was basically connecting with them as we were going, and I was trying to help them understand, like, hey, this level of hell that we're living in here, these things that we're dealing with, these like um, social situations where we're just like, what is going on? Why would anybody choose to do that? Why is this happening? Why is this level of hell that we're experiencing? Is because of our lack of following, because of the sin that we surround ourselves in. And don't get too strung up on the word sin. There's a way to look at it that isn't just like, the seven deadly sins. It's not, we're not talking about a movie here. We're talking about, truthful sin. So like this hell that we're experiencing is because of our lack of faith, our lack of following, our sinful nature, the things that we're doing. We're literally creating and giving space to the enemy to step into our lives. And we're not acknowledging that this is what's happening. So it becomes even more confusing to us. And it's confusing to us because this influence that the enemy has occurs in the same way that God himself can have influence on things. The people that approach us, the things they choose to do, what follows in experiences, the payout that you get for the work that you put in can be influenced in good or evil, either way. And so I'm explaining this in a video, and as I'm connecting with people and people are agreeing and understanding, I'm able to let them know that they can shut the video off and it's time for them to move forward. They no longer need to experience the hell that they've been living. And they can move on. And for those that weren't ready to understand or weren't at the point in which they could believe, that's fine. But please pause the video and save it where it's at, because further down the line, you're going to experience a little bit worse. You're going to struggle with a little bit more, whatever it may be. But when that time comes and those people were able to come back to the video, and when they showed back up, God would have me then feel it. Like I could feel it in my heart that they reconnected with the video, and then I could let them know that it's time. It's time for them that they can walk away from the hell that they've been living in by choosing to follow Jesus Christ, by acknowledging him as your savior, turning your back on the ways in which you have been living, and move closer to God, so that you can walk away from the hell that you've been experiencing. And they were allowed to shut the video down themselves. And this continued on, where I was experiencing connecting with people, and it got further down the line until the point in which the people who had denied what they had seen had no choice, based on the hell that they were experiencing, to say, I turned my back on the message I was receiving. I was wrong about it, but now I accept. And they were able to then turn towards Jesus and give their lives over to him, so that they no longer had to experience the pain and the suffering that they had been through. And at the end of the experience, I felt a surge of like just pure energy I would describe it as electricity, but it like kind of channeled down through my body, and and it made its way through my extremities, and I could feel it in each one of my fingertips. It felt like a description of electricity is all I could say, but just power. The experience of having somebody as powerful as God is closer speaking to you the way that he was to me. There was a lot more that occurred throughout the whole experience itself, but I wanted to share that piece, and I'm not sure why, but the biggest point is like the main reason that I'm even coming on to share this right now is because one of the understandings and what had occurred was that Elon Musk is going to lead the bride away. I didn't get to experience it quite in that fashion, but over time now, like the understanding of what I was shown, I haven't shared it here. What I was shown also is that Elon Musk is going to lead the bride away. So I don't want Christians to be confused. I don't know what it's going to look like from here, but if I don't share that word, I'm as wrong as anything could possibly be. Now, my wife had some dreams not too long ago, and this was during like the COVID time frame, and um, they were about there was there was tornadoes just all across the United States. I think across the world. I'd have to reconfirm with her, but just tornadoes, boop 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 boom, everywhere. In which she said she described it and like and watching it and as a way of like you're looking at it and you're like there's no way nobody had a doubt in their mind that God was doing this because it would be impossible. You think about those like catastrophe movies that we have. Um, it's like that, but like where you would look at it and like there's only a power and authority in the high heavens that could possibly do such a thing that was happening. And now there's two dreams, and I don't want to get them confused here. I hope I'm not getting them confused, but I think she was saying in this one that people weren't reacting in the way that she expected them to, or they didn't like acknowledge it, or they just wanted to go about their lives as if nothing had changed or whatever. And I'll check back with her later about what the outcome of it exactly was, but um, she had a follow up dream about it, and she got hooked up with like a group of people, and like the tornadoes started coming back, like the tornadoes were returning again, and this was after a period of time. And she said she described it as if like it was because people didn't acknowledge or like after the catastrophe of the last tornadoes happened, they were just like, oh well, about go about life again as it was, as if nobody changed their ways. And now these tornadoes were coming back uh, to the map, and people again like it was like God saying, hey, you need to listen. This is very important stuff, and I'm not playing around. I'm changing the face of this earth, and that's like the power of the tornado of what it can do. And she had gotten I think she got linked up with like a group of people, and they were Christians, like very faithful Christians, and they went to a house, and they didn't even go like into a base or anything like that. They just kind of like were at peace with what was occurring. Um, and even Jessica was like, she says he was looking out the porch at all the tornadoes, and she's like, "What are you guys doing? We gotta go get somewhere safe. We need to go get somewhere safe." And they're like, "No, God will take care of us." So there was something about like the dramatic faith that they had and the impact on what they even felt the need to do in the situation they were in. But I thought it was super important to share. God's been telling me that this needs to be shared. I'm probably not doing it justice, and I apologize for that. But there's something about the tornadoes returning that I really I need to impress upon you the importance of stepping as far forward in whatever level of faith that you have towards Jesus Christ. I can't let my wife's dream go to waste if these tornadoes are coming back. If what I experienced happened prior to COVID and then COVID locking everything down, and now my wife having a dream about the tornadoes we were facing and the tornadoes to come, please, um, put anything that's in your mind aside. You're going to try to justify or make sense of anything that you experience with any amount of earthly understanding, and that makes sense, but you got to try to put that aside a little bit. Because the earthly understanding you have, it's like taking elementary mathematics and then stepping into college level calculus and saying you fully understand it, but you're missing a lot of stuff. You're missing pieces in between, and that piece in between is Jesus Christ. It's acknowledging him as your savior and the power and authority that God has over this world. That's that piece that you're missing. Once you set aside this foundational building block of existence, this human experience, and you give that to the side, don't lose it completely because it's important. God's protected it a lot. It's important to him. He loves us so much. So don't forget that. But set that aside, the thought that you can explain anything that's going on with that, and wait until your true instructor comes through and helps you to combine the two things. Let God be your educator. Let him be the one that's going to show you the truth. So with that, I'm not sure what else to say at this point in time. Just God bless you. I hope he takes you under his wing. Give Jesus Christ your heart. If you have any questions of me, I'm more than willing to share. But Elon Musk was shown to me to lead the bride away. And on that, I'll leave you. God bless you.